everyone, Mom Mike here. Today's a quick video. This is what I'm playing for September 2018, so let's get right into it. We are starting off with Bravely Second. I am throwing in the towel, I'm waving the white flag. It's time for me to give up on this game. I made it as far as the final dungeon. At that point I consulted a walkthrough just to see how much of the game I had left, and I was just not happy with the amount of time I still had left to play on that game. It's an incredible value. I put in over 40 hours into this game. I enjoyed what I played, but I was staring down the barrel of 10-15 more hours because of the amount of grinding and leveling up that I would need to do. And I just thought, I'm feeling like I can be done with this game. I enjoyed what I played. I loved the story that I got to experience. I'm really just at that final boss, and that's all I would have to do. But I'm tired of it. I'm ready to play other things. Because I was sinking so much time into this game, I wasn't starting other games that I had purchased. So for now at least, I'm throwing in the towel. I might go back to this at some point. I might go back to this next summer when there's less games being released. But right now it's fall, there's tons of things to play, and Bravely Second is getting out of the rotation. It's just time for me to stop playing this game. Next up, this is Fallen Legion Rise to Glory for the Nintendo Switch. I'm really enjoying this game. It has a battle system like nothing I've ever played before. It is very fast-paced. It's definitely a game that requires a good amount of focus. It's not a game that I play when I'm tired because it does require me to focus quite a bit. But I've been enjoying playing this. The fun fact about this game is it's actually 2 games in one, but nowhere is it listed as such. On the back of the game it says that you have the option to play as either character, either Princess Cecil or Legatus Lander. But it doesn't actually tell you that they're 2 completely separate games. So on this cartridge we have got Fallen Legion Sins of an Empire and Fallen Legion Flames of Rebellion. One of those was on PlayStation 4, one was on PlayStation Vita. And that's what we have here. It's actually 2 games in one. I think it's really weird that they didn't advertise it that way because the value of this right here is 2 games on one cartridge. When you start up the game, it says choose your character, but what you're really choosing is which game you want to play. They're completely separate saves. What I was expecting, based on the description, was something like Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, where you have these 2 intertwined storylines, but you play as each character along the way. That's what I sort of expected, but it truly is 2 separate games on the cartridge. I think it is a little weird that they didn't advertise it that way, because the value is definitely here. But I'm very much enjoying this. It's a very different combat system. If you haven't seen these games before, I definitely recommend looking into them because I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I definitely, at this point, I'm rather early in, but at about 5-6 hours in, I definitely recommend this as of right now. Next up, I've been playing Yakuza Kiwami 2, and I've been really enjoying this game. As much as I enjoy and love the Yakuza series, though, these are games that I have to be alert and focused to play because there's so much reading in them, because the games are entirely in Japanese, just with English subtitles. And while I truly enjoy the series, and I like them for that because the voice acting is spectacular, they're so well done, but I do need to be alert, focused in order to play these games and to actually enjoy them and not feel like I'm just skipping through the story, which I definitely don't want to miss. The battle system in this game is different from Yakuza Kiwami, only slight changes. You'll see the hallmark things that you know from the Yakuza combat, like the heat meter and things like that, but they've made it behave a little differently. At this point in time, I've played through 0, Kiwami, 6, and now I'm starting this one. So I do notice slight differences between all the games. This one looks fantastic though, plays really well. It's a really fun time. If you've never played the Yakuza games, I definitely recommend checking them out. You could start with 0 or start with Kiwami, which is a remake of the first game. I personally started with 0, and that's what I recommend. I think that it makes the first game more impactful. But of course 0 is a prequel, so you really can play that at any time. But I think for me personally, how I wanted to play the games, I wanted to get to know all the characters first in 0, and then transition into the first game and play out that story. But it's up to you, and that's what I like about these games. There's a lot of options for how you want to play them. And the more of them that are being, remastered and brought over to the United States or to North American regions, I think is just fantastic. And next up we have got Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which I had finished the story mode on this one. What I have left to do is the side quests and the challenge tombs as well, and I did get the DLC for this game, the season pass I should say, because it's not yet being released, but because I got the Croft Steelbook Edition, the DLC will be included. I did do an unboxing on this Steelbook if you're interested in that, but that's just a quick look around. Out of the 3 games in this series, I think the first one is still my favorite, but this one makes a lot of great improvements, especially with the added mechanics for traversing the environment. They made a lot of great improvements there. There's fun new puzzles to go through in the tombs, and this one has less combat than the other 2 games, which originally I saw as a con, and I really wasn't sure how I felt about that. But after playing through it, I'll say the game is still very well paced. It definitely doesn't feel slow just because there's less combat encounters. And the encounters that are there, while they do encourage stealth, you're not going to fail the mission because you're not stealthy. It will be much more difficult for you. I feel as though Lara is not as much of a powerhouse character in this game. You definitely feel a little bit more limited, I feel at least, in your firepower. But you can make it work, and to me that's what matters with stealth games. I never want to feel locked in and restricted as I have to be stealthy. It's why I don't really play those types of games, and that's what I was nervous about with this one, but I truly enjoyed the combat scenarios that were in the game even though there were less of them. And overall, I feel it's a very well-rounded package. The story was great, it was dark and gritty, I really enjoyed that, and it had a lot of weight to it. It felt like your actions really mattered in this game. So if you're on the fence about this, especially about the combat scenarios, I definitely recommend checking it out. Maybe wait till it's on sale if you're really unsure. But if you liked the other 2 games, I definitely think this one is worth playing. If you haven't played this series at all yet, I highly recommend them. And as I said, the first one is my favorite of the 3. Lastly on my list is a digital title, and that is the amazing Shinsengumi Heroes in Love on the Nintendo Switch. If you watch my channel, you know I love the Hakuki games. They have Hakuki Ito Blossoms, Hakuki Kyoto Winds. I said those out of order, but same series. And this one is the amazing Shinsengumi Heroes in Love. This is an alternate take altogether on the Shinsengumi story, and it is redrawn. They had a popular manga artist redraw the characters, and it was really neat to see sort of their take on these characters that I very much love. In this game there are less bachelors. I believe you only have 6 bachelors in this one. And it's a much shorter experience overall. Each character playthrough is maybe 1.5 to 2 hours, as opposed to the Hakuki games where there's 12 bachelors. You can easily put 30 plus hours into those games. So I really enjoyed playing through that. It was a quick thing to run through on a weekend, but I enjoyed it. It was relatively cheap on Switch as well, so I didn't sink a ton of money into it. I knew what I was getting going into the game. I knew it wasn't as long of an experience, but I love those visual novels, and with the PlayStation Vita being phased out, I know that the Nintendo Switch is going to be my visual novel machine. It's encouraging for me to see a good amount of those on the Switch, especially in the eShop. I am hoping to see physical releases of some of these games as well, as the Vita is going away. But if they're only in the eShop, I can live with that. I just need something I can play my visual novels on. So that was what I'm playing for September 2018. Let me know in the comments below what you're playing this month, or if you're playing any of the same games as me. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time. Bye!